But this is what is especially significant, and what's kind of blowing my mind right now, because here is a visual of what they did with those petri dishes after they did the procedures. They put them and they just used an HVE, and then they did the procedure, and then they took those petri dishes and they let them grow. They cultured them. Then they took rubber dam with an HVE, same thing, and then they did the same exact procedure, and they were specifically being particular about how they did it so that they could represent. They wanted something replicatable. That's why they did multiple trials. What you can see is what grew, or how much splatter spray was emanating from the patient, depending on which technique you used. Now, I've asked several clinicians, dentists and hygienists, and I'm like, wait a minute, I, I'm kind of curious, because it kind of strikes me as odd. Rubber dam with HV, I thought HV is good. As it turns out, there's this context of a dry field. As a matter of fact, there's an earlier study that was done where they actually make a reference to dry field, and we're the ones who invented the word dry field, actually, and they were referencing it. They didn't say Isolite, but they did say dry field. Because Isolite is constantly evacuating fluids, all that type of stuff, there's less water, there's less fluid, there's less in the mouth, so that during the course of an actual procedure, less is being slung out, or less spray, less spatter, and therefore less aerosols are being generated from it. So even though an HVE is very effective at eliminating it as it's leaving the mouth, or it's still not decreasing the generation of that. We also found, or I was told at least, that when you have rubber dam, if you look, the rubber dam is not evacuating or eliminating fluids. It's basically sitting there. You can put an HVE in there to do that, but it's still all over inside the mouth, so that as you're doing your work, it's kicking things out. So anyway.